Sniper. The stock market is just about to open, and guess what? Nvidia beat earnings last night. The best earnings report on record. So we won't react to that as I set this up the right and proper way. He also said some things about Trump that, because as you know, Nvidia invested, or Nvidia is investing a lot of money in the United States over the next 10 years. They're wanting and they're participating because America is striving to be the number one leader in AI as we get ready. Let me see. I got to get this together. We got 5 minutes for the stock market open. So I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I'm your host, the one on the Stock Sniper. Hold up. That's not the way to do it. Boom. There you go. That fast. Like, oh, nah. Dang. Still got to do all this? Really? We got 3 minutes left before the market open. Okay, here we go. We're trying to see how it's going to work out today. We get everything ready to rock and roll. Boom, boom. We're also going to listen to the earnings call. No, we're going to listen to the CEO, Jensen, speak on certain things. So let me, what am I trying to do? Let me get this set up over here. Bear with me, bear with me. If you're just now coming in, make sure you hit that like button. Okay. Okay. Hey, what's up, Jonathan Davis? Appreciate you for joining me. Appreciate you. Oh, here we go. We got 2 minutes before the market open, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready to set everything up. I should have did this before I came on, but I didn't. So I'm doing it now. I'm getting kind of good at this. I'm getting kind of good at this. Right. Let's see. All right. I don't want to go there yet. I want to see how Nvida is going to open the first 5 minutes. Now, you know what? I'm going to go on and play that right now. I'm going to go on and play that right now. Let's see. And while we're playing this, I can do what I got to do in the stock market. Okay. Shoot, bro. Boom. So appreciate y'all for joining me. I'm your host, the one on the Stock Sniper. And right now, we're finna listen to the CEO of Nvidia talk about his earnings report and the future of AI.
Shares affected by what we heard from the company, both on data center and on China. But Jensen, without further ado, I want to bring in Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia. Jensen, it's great to see you. I want to start actually putting China a little bit to the side and asking how you would characterize underlying data center demand ex-China right now.
Incredible. Incredible. We had a record quarter without China, and we just guided another record quarter without China. And so the fundamentals are this. One, we're in the second generation of our Blackwell architecture. Blackwell is revolutionary. It's got this new NVLink 72 rack scale computer. The entire rack is one computer, not a whole bunch of computer nodes connected together, but it's one connected supercomputer. And it came just in time because of this agentic AI technology that has emerged.
If you're just not joining me and you don't know who this is the CEO of Nvidia. Nvidia is the #1 leader in AI technology in the world. It's called Nvidia. This is the company that I'm heavily invested in. This is also the company that I day trade just about every single day. A great company, a great product. If you own any advanced computers, gaming computers, NVIDIA's software, NVIDIA's technology, 9 times out of 10 is inside of your gaming computer. So let's listen to what he got to say.
Emerged in the last year or so, which causes the AI to be able to think. It can think, it could do a plan, it could reason, does research, use tools. It could, use a web browser. It could use Excel. It could use SAP. It could use ServiceNow. And it could use all of these tools to solve problems, work with other agents, for example. So the amount of computation has gone through the roof. And meanwhile, all of these AI native companies are coming up with all these exciting new applications. At NVIDIA, we use Cursor. It's our AI programmer. Across the entire company, everybody's using Cursor. The amount of code that we're generating and checking in is just incredible. Our productivity's gone through the roof. And so OpenAI, as you know, had $1 billion month. It's incredible growth. If you look at the AI native companies, last year, they did $2 billion altogether. The first year of AI revenues. The second year of AI revenues, $20 billion. Tenfold increase in 1 year. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I see AI opportunities, obviously, across all of the clouds and enterprise and industrial applications and robotics and self-driving cars. I mean, just digital biology and drug discovery. We just see that just AI is just deploying everywhere.
Jensen, you mentioned on the call that China would have been a $50 billion total addressable market this quarter, and then this year, and then you would have seen it go to 50% next year. How do you get to that point with the administration where you can see those kinds of gains?
Well, first, I think President Trump really understands and really wants, and it's his policy to have America win the AI race. And that's really foundational. Recognizing that that's important for national security, it's important for our economic security, it's important for American leadership around the world. And he understands that the American tech stack should be the world standard. Just as the American dollar is the world standard that economies are built on, we want the American tech stack for the world's technology and industries to be built on. And that includes China. And so if you look at China, China has 50% of the AI researchers in the world. They have lots and lots of AI companies, and they have lots of AI chip companies. Without us there, they will obviously have their own alternatives, and they've been growing. And you've seen some of the AI chip companies had record years. Their stock prices are record high. Obviously, there's a lot of opportunities there. If we have an opportunity to go compete for that market, it would be great for America. It would be great for China. And we have an opportunity to go capture some of that $50 billion that is growing at about 50% every year. The second largest AI and computing market in the world. America should be part of that. It's great for exports. It's great for our treasury. It's great for American technology leadership. And it enables us to leverage that leadership all around the world. And so really important for it's just an incredible decision by President Trump. I'm very, very pleased with it, very grateful for his decision. And we're gonna do our best to go capture some of that market.
And talk to me about what it means for NVIDIA specifically, Jensen, because, even at full strength, China was about, call it 10 to 15% of the company's sales. And so I'm curious if you think of China as a nice to have or a need to have for NVIDIA, and whether you need sales into China to keep up the pace of rapid growth that you've been experiencing.
Every American technology company, for every American technology company, China is important to have. It's an important market. It's dynamic. The companies there are vibrant, innovative, fast-moving. It's one of the fastest growing technology markets in the world. The technologies that are used there, the services that are created there, the open source models. China builds most of the world's open source models today. And DeepSeek, of course, we've spoken about before, really important model. Q1 from Alibaba, really excellent. Kimi is excellent. Moonshot's model is excellent. There's a whole bunch of really excellent models. Another one just came out, a Seed from ByteDance, really excellent. And so the open source culture is really vibrant there. Those open source models has spread all over the world. They're used by startups all over the world, including here in the United States. It's used in enterprises all over the world. Open source models is making it possible for people to create market-specific, domain-specific, and company-specific models. Really important for American technology companies to be able to run those models really well. And so I think China is just an important market. It's also, as you know, it's just really large. It's the second largest computing market in the world. I'm just delighted that President Trump sees the wisdom of American leaders.
Listen to what he just said. The China market is about 500 billion of opportunity. 500 billion in opportunity. In other words, this AI technology is just beginning. It's just beginning. It is the perfect opportunity to learn about AI, get educated about AI. In other words, AI is what the .com was in the early 90s. And AI is still in the beginning stages. It's a whole lot of growth opportunity. See, it's a wealth transfer going on right now. It's the beginning stages of a wealth transfer. What does that mean? That the beginning stages of the wealth transfer is an exchange of wealth from the poor to the rich. That's what's happening right now. See, that's what we need to be paying attention to. We have to start paying attention and implementing strategies to get involved in this wealth transfer that's starting right now. So let's listen to the rest of what he said, because what I've learned and what we must understand is that success leaves clues. So let's listen to some more.
Leadership, and particularly at this time where AI is taking off, it's vital that America wins the AI race.
And so, Jensen, what now needs to happen, right, to get you there, to get not just you there, but other American companies there? How do you overcome that sort of political hurdle?
Well, for a while, these American AI technologies are stuck in limbo, and so now we're getting the engine fired back up again. And so I'm looking forward to, and I hope that the China market and the Chinese government will allow American technology companies to be able to sell to the Chinese customers. There's a lot of demand there, although there's a lot of alternatives there.
Dude 5 Prawn, appreciate you for joining me. Is that your uncle? Yes, that is Uncle Jensen. Yes, that's my uncle. You're absolutely correct. That's my uncle. Yeah, you goddamn right, that's my uncle. Yeah, it is.
The China AI technology companies are really good, as I mentioned. We can be very competitive. You know, as this is you're talking about America's technology industry. It is our national treasure. It is incredibly competitive, and we have every opportunity to succeed.
Hey, what's up, Linda? How you doing? Appreciate you for joining me. You just entered the best chat room on YouTube. Right now, we're listening to Unc. That's what we're doing right now.
Succeed in China market if they would allow for American technology companies to be able to play there. And so I'm hoping that things will get sorted out. I believe there's a lot of demand for H20. The CUDA ecosystem is really vibrant in China. We've been there for a very long time, and so we can add a lot of value if we can get back in. And so, anyways, we're We've now taken care of we've now been approved to and licensed to be able to ship to China. Now we're looking for orders in China.
Okay, Nvidia to pay U.S. government 15% of China chip sales. See, that's what we got to understand what's going on. It's a lot of income coming into America. The thing is, will Trump do what he say he gonna do? What he say he gonna do, Stock Sniper? He say all this investment money that's coming in to America, which is our money, we the people. Guess what? Guess what they're saying they're gonna do? They're gonna pay us what is called a dividend. Now I'm watching very, very closely on all this money that's coming in. Will Trump do the unthinkable and issue out dividend to the American citizens with all this business that's being created and all this wealth that's being made? 15% of the China chip sales will be paid to the U.S. government. What does that mean? What does that mean, Stock Sniper? That means that all the chips that Nvidia sells to China, which Nvidia being a U.S. company that has already invested billions into America, meaning that they're going to be building factories. They're going to be educating people. In other words, that is a good career to go in, learning AI technology, and maybe they'll have jobs for the American people. And the chips that they sell to China, they will be paying America, which is us, 15% of the profits.
And I'm hoping for it. If it doesn't happen, of course, we've already guided to another record quarter next quarter, and the China business would be a bonus on top of that. But hopefully, we'll be able to address that 50 billion, growing very fast AI market long term. Really important for the United States.
Jensen, I want to get a little nerdy here. The networking business, right? That came in up 98% year over year. You announced a new product where you're kind of able to merge data centers into kind of one super GPU almost. Where does that kind of growth look going into Vera Rubin? You introduced the new NVLink with each new chip. How do you see that then moving with the next generation?
Super nerdy, super good.
See, now they're talking about networking with other countries, networking with other data centers, networking with the younger generation. That's why, just like last night, I was talking about building relationships. In this time and age, guys, we have to be building relationships. It's really not in your best interest to be burning bridges in 2025. It's in your best interest to be building relationships, healthy, beneficial relationships. That's what they're talking about right now. Let's keep going.
Good question. As you know, we used to have a network technology called InfiniBand, and we still do. And it is still the best scale-out networking technology. In the last 5 years, we invented 3 new networking platforms. The first one is called NVLink. It's a scale-up switching architecture. It makes it possible for us to take one GPU, connect across 72 of them in one rack, and turn the entire rack 140 megawatts of power, 140 kilowatts of power, 140,000 watts of power into one unified computer. The second thing that we did, that's called NVLink. The second thing that we did was we created Spectrum X Ethernet, a new type of Ethernet, enhanced Ethernet for AI, not just normal off-the-shelf Ethernet, which is too jittery, too low, too high latency. It's designed for classical networking, not AI computing. So we invented Spectrum X networking, Ethernet. That allows us to scale out. NVLink scales up, Spectrum X and InfiniBand scales out. And then now we made it possible for us to connect multiple AI factories into one giant factory, and we call that Spectrum XGS for gigascale Ethernet, which allows us now to scale across AI factories to build these AI super factories. And so we now have 3 networking platforms: scale up, scale out, and scale across. And these together, our networking opportunity, you just mentioned, grew incredibly in the last year. Just our Ethernet product line grew to an annualized rate of $10 billion. And that's just gotten started. And so you could see that networking is going to be a very big part of our business. Now, that's fundamentally recognizing the fusion of computing, networking, and software. That fundamental understanding at NVIDIA for AI almost 15 years ago now, and you guys have been following us for a long time, over the course of the last decade, it's really gone into turbocharge. But this fusion of computing and networking and software is really what makes NVIDIA's AI factories so great. And these factories, as you know, are so expensive, such a large investment. Our performance per watt, our token generation per watt, our computing per watt is, a watt is, energy, computing per power is the world's best. As a result, because your factory is power limited, our revenue generation is the best of anybody. And then our performance per dollar, our performance is so good. Our performance per dollar is incredibly good, which allows us to deliver the best gross margins to our customers. And then we do this every single year, increasing these step-ups, these generational step-ups, so that we can help our customers grow, help them drive down cost, and because the token performance is so high, help AI get better and better.
Jensen, I know it's so amazing to see you, put on your technologist hat, but then also put on your sort of diplomat hat as you've had to navigate all of this different stuff over the past year. Dan's going to get back to another very nerdy question to close us out. But before we do, you and other corporate CEOs here in the US have really been working with the administration to achieve your goals. Of course, the government becoming part owner of Intel, and they've opened the door to other deals. Have you thought about similar deals, other kinds of partnerships with this administration?
No, and it hasn't really come up. I think the President Trump and his administration wants to make America great. In all of my conversations with them, it's 100% there. It's about reindustrializing the United States because we need to have manufacturing here. We need to be able to manufacture critical technology here. We want to have a manufacturing economy here. And that vision for reindustrializing the United States is a wonderful vision, and we should get all behind it, and NVIDIA is all behind it. The second vision that we're part of is to help the United States. He wants America to win the AI race. It is the most consequential technology of all time. This is the beginning of a new industrial revolution.
NVIDIA had a pop pre-market, now it's pulling back. It almost got to my resistance line of 180, 185. Almost got there because at 180, if it would have hit that 185, I was going to pull the put. I was going to go for a short at 185, but it didn't quite get there. In other words, I missed my target. My target didn't hit, which is okay.
Revolution. This technology will be the foundation technology for the next, several decades, the next century. And it's the most consequential thing that could drive productivity, industrial advance, social advance. And he understands that. And he wants America to win the AI race. And so when we speak to him, most of the conversations are really just centered around those navigates around those two topics, where it ends up at those two topics all the time. And he's singularly focused on helping the United States and helping America be great again. And so I've always enjoyed the conversation with the administration. They're very constructive. They're trying to help. They have a great sense of urgency, which I love. They have a great sense of urgency, which I love. And, I can't say enough great things about it.
Jensen, I want to ask one more question on the nerdy side. Obviously, Nvidia started out as gaming, still a huge gaming company. You guys build the chip that goes into the Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo and Switch 2. The Nintendo Switch 2 is selling like gangbusters at this point, beating out the original sales. There's obviously your own chips. How does the gaming market demand look right now? Obviously, we're going into next year. We're going to see Grand Theft Auto coming out. That's probably going to be on PC at some point. That'll get more people buying more chips. How does that?
Look at that earnings report on, well, I got to take this off, bro. Boom, there we go. Look at that earnings revenue on gaming. They estimated the earnings to be 3.82 billion. They beat revenue, the gaming revenue, by almost $1.5 billion. They blew the earnings on gaming revenue. They blew it out the water.
How does that market look at this point for you guys?
As you know, NVIDIA's gaming GPUs brought CUDA to the world. It was on GeForce, the back of GeForce, that we brought CUDA to the world and revolutionized computing. It was GeForce that made possible the AI revolution. And now what's amazing is AI is coming back to revolutionize GeForce for gaming. And this last quarter, I think we had a record quarter for gaming between GeForce and Nintendo Switch. As you know, Nintendo Switch 1 is completely revolutionary. I'm really proud of it. It is this highest grossing, highest selling game console in history. It's just utterly unimaginable, the success of Switch 1. Switch 2, off to an enormous start, even more successful, I think, than the Switch 1 started. And you could just imagine how far it's going to go. I'm proud of Switch 2. I'm proud of Switch 1. We did several things. We designed a
Shout out to all the gamers out there. Shout out to all the gamers out there. We really, really, really appreciate y'all. And the gaming sector is just now beginning. Appreciate all the gamers. Shout out to you.
Revolutionary SoC, like revolutionary computer chip that delivers incredible ray tracing capability, incredible AI and AI rendering capability we call neural rendering, and we do it in a little tiny power envelope. It's really amazing that the frame rate of Nintendo Switch 2 is so silky smooth. You don't need any frames anymore. And so the technology is really refined, really polished, and the images that it's generating is so incredibly beautiful. We use neural rendering. It's amazing. We compute a few pixels, and then we use AI to predict, to generate a whole bunch of pixels. And as a result, we save a lot of energy. We produce really beautiful images. And so I'm just really proud of the gaming business. We're really passionate about it. Very few people ask me about it these days, but I'm really grateful that you do. I'm just incredibly proud of Switch and incredibly proud of GeForce.
I got to tell you real quick, Cyberpunk looks amazing on it. I think that just knocked people out of their socks because of that. But Jensen, we wanted to thank you so much for joining us. Josh, back to you.
All right, and our great thanks there to NVIDIA CEO.
Thanks, Julie.
Jensen
Thanks,
Huang.
Dan.
Well, that is a wrap on today's special coverage of NVIDIA's second quarter earnings report. Big thanks to NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang.
Wow, that was good news. Now let's look at NVIDIA. Let's see. NVIDIA, when the market opened, look, this red line right here is the resistance line. Almost hit my target. That was my target to go short. And look, 148.47. Barely missed my short target. Sell off all the way back up under 178. Back now this is support. What was support? So I missed my entry this morning, which I ain't tripping. It'll come back to me. So I'm gonna go over here in that way. Yeah, right here. And we're going to catch up on this shooting news out of Minnesota.
About 24 hours after the shooting, the good news, 4 patients.
Appreciate y'all for joining me. I'm your host, the one and only Stock Sniper. Now we got to change lanes. We got to pray for these students that got, unalived at the school shooting from yesterday. So let's check up and see what's going on.
Patients have been released from Children's, but we understand.
Appreciate y'all for joining me. This is the #1 chat room on YouTube.
3 are still there in the hospital. Thankfully, doctors do expect all of the wounded to survive this horrific attack. And we are working to learn more about the shooter, of course, as investigators are trying to figure out what would make a person do such an evil act.
And law enforcement found the suspect dead outside of the church, saying that she shot and killed herself. Our Chinu Her joins us now from the Life Center with what else we know about the suspect so far. Chinu, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Tom and Kelly. Well, right now, police have identified the suspect as Robin Westman. She was 23 years old and did not have an extensive criminal history. Now, this is a photo of Robin obtained by Fox. Robin's mother worked at Annunciation at one point, but left the school in 2021, according to a Facebook post from the school. Court records also show that the shooter's mother applied to change her child's name in 2019 from Robert to Robin, according to the filing.
Wow, look at this, guys. Somebody asked me yesterday, what is the definition of a Pookie and a Ray Ray? You're looking at the definition of a Pookie and a Ray Ray right now. A scumbag, lowlife, criminal, targeting kids praying at school. That's what the definition of a Pookie and a Ray Ray.
The suspect identified as a woman and wanted a name change to reflect that. Now, investigators searched 3 properties yesterday. They carried out several items, but right now it's still unclear exactly what they carried out of those properties. A motive is still under investigation, but police say they are aware of a manifesto that Robin put on YouTube. It appeared to show the suspect at the scene and included some disturbing writings. The video has since been taken down with help from the FBI and is under review from investigators. Now, as we mentioned, the FBI is still investigating this shooting as an act of domestic terrorism and hate crime targeting Catholics. So we'll continue to keep you updated as this investigation continues throughout the day.
Yes. Learning so much more as the hours go by. Chinu Her in our Live Center. Thank you, Chinu.
We know community members are in mourning, of course, and many people are angry.
Understandably so. And some are wondering, how do we prevent other acts of senseless violence?
Our research shows that there's always warning signs. There's always signs of a crisis. The perpetrators almost always tell someone they're thinking about this or post something on social media. People need to know when they see, when they hear, who do they report to, and how do we intervene before this happens.
So in Minnesota, there are extreme risk protection orders. What is that? Well, if someone is threatening violence of self-harm, family members or friends can file a petition to temporarily take away their firearms. Today, a news conference is being held to both honor the victims of yesterday's shooting and to call for a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, although that was apparently not used in this shooting. That's happening today at 1 in the afternoon at the Minneapolis City Hall Rotunda.
Of course, we will continue to stay on this story. Still to come here on the Fox 9 Morning News, we are following some other news headlines of the morning. Still no ceasefire deal as Israeli troops close in on Gaza City.
And a rare attack in Ukraine's capital.
All right, so they are transitioning to discuss top headlines you can expect for their local coverage. Staying atop of this story, though, the latest from the Minnesota Timberwolves on X. They say, quote, "We are deeply heartbroken by the tragic shooting that occurred this morning during a school mass in our Minneapolis." And of course, as we continue with this coverage, we do want to get a little closer to many of the mementos that are there closer to the door. Transitioning your screen, I can tell you all morning and even late last night, people have been coming out with mementos. You see flowers there adorned, even some stuffed animals for people who want to pay their respects, even stand there for a moment of silence we've seen that as well there at the Annunciation Catholic Church and school. And of course, we want to hear from leaders. We want to hear from community members and residents that live in that area who share how they have been impacted, how they plan to move forward. And we plan to do so with our content partners over at Fox 9 Minneapolis once that coverage gets underway during their 10 o'clock hour here on the East Coast. We know it is a different time there. But again, they have had team coverage throughout the morning, scattered across the Minneapolis area, live coverage outside of Annunciation Catholic Church. And then we've also seen updates outside of the hospital. I do want to give you a live look there as the hospital sets the scene of that tragic day. We know it was a tragic start to the school year. 2 children were killed by a gunman who opened fire during that morning mass. The shooter shooting through the stained glass window into that morning mass. And we're also continuing to learn that several people remain in critical condition this morning there at that hospital. So we'll continue to get live analysis throughout this Thursday, as you can imagine, checking in with Fox correspondents that are there. We'll also have an active shooter expert join us during the 10 o'clock hour, Dr. Steve Webb. As we continue to follow the very latest, we do see that coverage is underway. Let's head there now.
It's just human nature.
Right.
We always want to do what we can. And good morning to you on this Thursday morning here on the Fox 9 Morning News as we continue to cover this developing story, this awful story that happened yesterday to our community, to our families, to our friends. Good to see you. I'm Tom Butler.
And I'm Kelly O'Connell. We appreciate you being with us here in the 9 o'clock hour. Of course, that mass shooting at the Minneapolis Catholic School left 2 children dead and 17 others injured. Basically 24 hours ago. It happened during the first week of class at Annunciation Catholic School. Police say the shooter opened fire on children and parishioners as they were at church during morning mass. Police say the shooter shot through the stained glass windows from outside the church. 2 children, an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, were killed. 14 other kids and 3 worshipers in their 80s were shot. But the good news here, we understand all of the others are expected to survive. Saquon has been covering this news since we first learned about it yesterday morning.
And she joins us right now from Annunciation Catholic Church, where we know there's still very heavy hearts on this day after, essentially 24 hours later. Say good morning to you.
Hey, good morning to you. Yeah, I mean, you guys mentioned help and wanting to help earlier. And I think, something that people, on a national scale might not understand is that this Minneapolis is rooted in community. This is all about community. If there's one thing that Minnesotans are so great at, it's coming out here and showing their support. I'll step out of the way so you can see what things look like here at Annunciation Church now 24 hours after that shooting. Right now, we're not seeing people, but earlier this morning, guys, there were people kneeling, there were people praying. In fact, just a few minutes ago, we heard those church bells once again, which I think is a powerful message. Those bells, by the way, are huge in this neighborhood. Neighbors here are telling me that they hear it every single day, and it means something different today. You can see that, people have dropped off flowers, dropped off teddy bears, and really are trying to pay their respects here. I actually was just talking to a mom who lives in this neighborhood, too, and she was telling me about the conversations that she's been having with her own kids. One of them who attends a Catholic school in St. Paul. And, for her, she was saying how this shouldn't even have to be a conversation. Her telling her kids what they should do when there is a shooting, if that ever breaks out at their school, what they should do. And it was really heartbreaking to hear from a parent's perspective what they have to explain to their children. This morning, we did meet a woman named Pam. We have some video here. And this woman comes from St. Michael's Lutheran Church. And what she does is lay crosses at places where they're needed the most. She told me that she has experience traveling to places like Uvalde, Texas and Parkland. And she was there for those shootings as well. Those crosses are signed by people who were at the memorial yesterday, which is just a block away from where we are right now. And she also has canines with her and strategically places them in areas that are really, of course, where they're needed the most. So think, first responders, emergency personnel, etc. Right now, you're looking live at that memorial site that I was mentioning, again, just about a block from where we are, and it is growing, and I don't mean that lightly. I mean, we have seen so many different people there this morning, all throughout the night. Last night, you can see flowers, you can see candles, stuffed animals, right? We actually caught up with one.
What's up, Carlos? How you doing? Hope you're having a great morning. You have just entered the best chat room on YouTube. Thank you for coming. You could be anywhere else, but you're rocking with us, and we really, really appreciate you.
One of them who dropped off some flowers earlier today. She was a teacher at Minneapolis Public Schools. Here's some of what she had to say.
I'm a Minneapolis public school teacher, but I've worked in a Catholic school before. I went to Catholic school my entire life. My mom works in a Catholic school. So it really hit me, I think, having it happen here. And just being a teacher, I just think about what if that were my kids. So, I mean, it's emotional. So I wanted to come out and just pay my respects and do what little I can do.
Yeah, I think that is a message that resonates with everyone right now, especially parents. She is a teacher, obviously, for Minneapolis Public Schools. I can just say, once again, I've been saying this all morning, I cannot speak to the pain that these families and these victims are experiencing and feeling. But I will say, again, I'm a coach at Washburn High School, which is just about a mile away from where we are. And hearing from the parents of the players that I coached yesterday was really heartbreaking. A lot of them grew up together. A lot of them are neighbors. So just, I think one message that they shared too was that, I think we all need to hug the ones that we love a little tighter today and the days ahead for the families who can't today. Just by the way, if you're looking to help or get involved, of course, first I do want to mention there's a prayer service tonight at 5:30 at the Basilica of St. Mary. I'm sure there's going to be a big showing of support out there. Also, you can text ACF1 to the number 41444. That's going to be all the money donated is going to go towards the Minneapolis Foundation. So those are just some ways that you can get involved and help in this time of healing and grieving, of course. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, we know we saw those at least 2 to 3 vigils last night. I expect that one tonight at the Basilica to be very well attended. People want to come together to try to process and at least just be with each other as we're mourning. Say thank you.
One voice here. Yeah, thank you, Say. We know victims of the shooting were brought to multiple hospitals yesterday. Some, though, are still being treated this morning.
Shane Walls is live for us at HCMC with the details, kind of an update on some of those victims. Good morning, Shane.
Yeah, good morning. What we know now is that there are still 13 people who are receiving treatment in local hospitals. 10 of those victims yesterday were brought here to Hennepin Healthcare. A bit of good news in that one of the children was downgraded from critical condition to now being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. So at this point, the count here at Hennepin Healthcare is that there is 1 adult and 5 kids in critical condition still. The rest, again, non-life-threatening injuries, but being treated. Also at Children's Minnesota, they received 3 children who are still in the hospital. There, 4 have been discharged, so some good news there too. We're learning a lot more too about some of their survivors. There is a GoFundMe out there for the family of 12-year-old Sophia Forkis. She's in critical condition. She's in the ICU. Her mother is a pediatric critical care nurse who arrived at work to help during this tragedy, and that's when she learned that one of the victims was her very own daughter. Sophia's younger brother was also at the school during the shooting. Luckily, he was uninjured by gunfire, though, of course, this was traumatic to witness this happen to your sister, your friends, your teachers, etc. Want to mention, too, there's another mom who spoke out. She released a statement. Her son is an 8th grader there. He was injured in the shooting as well. She said, our hearts are shattered, not only for him, but everyone who was harmed. We grieve, we pray for the others who were shot, for their families, and those who lost loved ones. For the first responders who raced into danger, we thank them. Our son shared that an MPD officer really helped him. He said the officer rendered aid, hugged him, reassured him, and prayed with him before getting into the ambulance. She goes on to say, unlike others, we are blessed to hold on to him. We will help him rebuild his life, his trust, and his confidence. And she does not want others to feel the same. Shane prays that everyone who was touched by this tragedy can find some strength and begin that rebuilding process. Just want to make one more note, too, about Hennepin Healthcare. We did speak to a doctor yesterday, and they are trained. This is a level one trauma center, so they deal with this. But for them, they say a gun.
Hey, what's up, BG? Appreciate you for joining me. You have just entered the best chat room on YouTube. Appreciate you for being here. Hope you're having a great day.
Gunshot wound victim needs an entire team, essentially, because it impacts multiple body systems. On top of that, the day before, they also were treating that mass shooting victims. So just another layer to this incredibly traumatic story.
That's not a B, that's a P. PG.
I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Right, and this is their own community too. Many of them live in Minneapolis, in South Minneapolis. All right, Shane, thank you for us there from HCMC. Appreciate the update.
Thank you, Shane. 9:09 is the time. Keith Marler is in, and of course our news continues this morning. We'll be going till noon, telling you what's going on, not only in
All right, we appreciate our content partners there at Fox 9 Minneapolis, transitioning to give you a live look there on the ground as Fox 9 did transition to weather-related headlines, a live look there outside of Annunciation Catholic Church and School as they zoom in on many of the mementos people have come out to leave. You see flowers, candles have been left, and even stuffed animals, as people even have knelt in a moment of silence and prayer in homage of what those in the community experienced at Annunciation Catholic Church and School. Of course, we will continue to keep a close eye on this situation. The time now, 10:09 here on the East Coast. I'm Jeanne Francine. We will continue with this coverage right after a quick 2-minute commercial break. But before we step aside, I do want to...
What's up, chat? How you doing? How y'all doing out there? We got 100 people in the building. Appreciate y'all at this time. Appreciate y'all for coming in. Hope y'all having a great morning. I'm just sitting back reacting to the tragedy that happened out there with the kids at that Catholic church. And we're also watching Nvida as it blows out in the earnings report yesterday. Nvida had a great earnings report yesterday. Marky Mark. Hey, what's up, Marky Mark? How you doing? Appreciate you for joining me. Appreciate you for joining me. Yeah, we're getting ready for football season. It's coming up, and we ready to rock and roll. Everybody that's been subscribing to the channel, we really, really, really appreciate you. All the new people that's been rocking with us, we really appreciate you. Over here, you got a voice. You can speak your mind. You can speak your mind as long as you just be respectable about it. We all adults. Just be respectable. Christian, hey, support. Hey, what's going on? Appreciate you. Tesla, that's right. Kevin, appreciate y'all for joining me. You could be anywhere else, but you're here rocking with me. And that's great. So we waiting on them to come back. Let me see what else is going on. Let's see what else is going on. I'm going through. Give me a second, guys. Yeah, this marathon training has really been a grind. I've been training for a marathon, and it's really been a grind. Let's see.
Withdrawn from
2018.
the deal
this
in
was
2018.
a deal. This landmark deal in Vienna, 2015, was done by the so-called P5+1. That's the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council. So the US, the UK, France, and China,
Mark,
plus
all loss
Germany,
of
they're the
life
plus
is terrible.
one.
That's
And
right. Yeah,
then the
it
seventh
is.
signatory was, of course, Iran, who signed
European
up to this
nations,
deal, and Trump was the
German
one that
foreign
pulled
minister
out of this
says
deal.
that it
How
expects
different could
Iran to
this have been
cooperate with
if Trump hadn't pulled out
IAEA
in
and engage in
2018?
direct talks.
Certainly, if these sanctions come back into force, it'll be a sanction tsunami for Iran that is already suffering so much after that military attack that took place in June. Regionally,
Okay,
Iran...
let's go back over here.
Dozen others. We want to check in now with Fox News correspondent Doug Luzader. He has the latest this morning from Washington.
The FBI is now ramping up this investigation into this attack on a Catholic school, and the Secretary of Homeland Security called the gunman a deranged monster. In Minnesota, a vigil to remember the victims of another school shooting. 2 children at a Catholic school in Minneapolis were killed and 17 people were wounded in a barrage of gunfire. The gunman, a 23-year-old, later committed suicide, according to police. FBI Director Kash Patel wrote on X, "The FBI is investigating this shooting as an act of domestic terrorism and hate crime targeting Catholics."
I think that's an understatement. I think this is a hate crime and a lot more.
Police say they found the gunman had posted a video online detailing weapons and intentions.
We're also aware of a manifesto that the shooter had timed to be released on YouTube. This manifesto appeared to show him at the scene and included some disturbing writings.
And while President Trump says he was monitoring the situation and offered his prayers, First Lady Melania Trump went a step further, posting this on X. To prevent future tragedies, it is crucial we look into behavioral threat assessments across all levels of society, beginning in our homes, extending through school districts, and of course, social media platforms. A former Israeli Special Operations veteran Aaron Cohen said the U.S. needs to deploy new tools and strategies.
These are radicalized online lone wolves, and the United States is 10 years behind these threats. We need to catch up.
The 2 children killed were 8 and 10, but the wounded were as young as 6, and some were in their 80s. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Doug, thank you so much for that detailed report. And as we further analyze and contextualize.
Hey, what's up, SG? How you doing? Appreciate you for joining me. You just entered the best chat room on YouTube.
What's going on, we want to bring into the conversation none other than Dr. Steve Webb. He's an active shooter expert. Dr. Webb, a pleasure having you on the show. Good morning to you.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
So, Dr. Webb, I first want to start off contextualizing and providing a human aspect to this. I was telling you in one of the breaks that, I'm a 90s baby. Growing up, the conversations with my parents before the start of school, very different than what school-age children are dealing with now. For me, it was, all right, Janae, pay attention. No talking too much in class, be respectful, make sure to bring all of your homework home so we can help you with it, help you study. It was never your backpack is bulletproof. It was never this is what you need to do during an active shooter situation. Where are we in 2025? Can you explain the latest, please?
Well, sure. Social media has changed everything. It's turned the powerless into wanting to try to gain some type of power over others, separating themselves from reality. Listen, I traveled all across the nation.
Thank you, SG. It starts at home. If you cannot raise children to be decent human beings, do not have kids. Great information, sir. Keep thriving and stay blessed. Thank you, SG. Thank you for the kind words. We appreciate it. The stock sniper. Hey, what's up, Marky Mark? What's going on?
To interview community members that have been in tragedies like Uvalde, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Parkland, and everywhere I went, somebody said, I can't believe it happened here. Well, when we stop saying that and understand that it's happening everywhere, then we're going to get down to business and start stopping it.
And that's the question many of the viewers have this morning. What needs to happen to stop this from happening again? That seems to be the question posed every time we see an active shooter at a church, at a school, at a movie theater, at a shopping mall.
Well, listen, we haven't lost a child in a fire at a school since 1958. We've got over 500 pages of national fire code. We can't come up with a national school safety code to make sure that all of our school buildings are properly secured. Now, imagine this. Imagine this deranged murderer driving up and seeing a police car outside. Imagine him walking up to the windows and he can't see in. He might be able to hear something, but he can't see in and identify a target. Imagine this. He goes to the door, whatever door, and sees a sign, "Our staff is armed." And the doors are locked and he can't get in. And then imagine that SRO that every school should have walking out and mitigating this individual before anybody gets hurt. Now, that is a world that I think we're missing.
Look at the name of this book that he got back here in the background. Education in a Violent World. Wow. I bet that's a good book. Education in a Violent
And
World.
understanding that, I get it. We don't want
Look at it,
to
guys.
look like prisons. Why
Education
not?
in a
People don't go
Violent
into prisons
World.
outside
By
and start shooting up
Steve
a prison because they are guarded
Guido.
by well-trained individuals. Every school in America should have that as well.
Dr. Webb, I'm so glad you posed that statement because that's actually the poll we are conducting with viewers in real time as we are conducting this interview. We're asking them this Thursday if they support or oppose allowing school staff to be armed in schools for protection. 89% of viewers at this hour say they support faculty being armed in schools, while 11% say they oppose. You posed a great thought saying, many people don't want their children to feel like they're walking.
That's right. Every school in America should have armed school protection. Dudes that's ready to go on go right now. Yes, that's what we need.
Walking into a prison or maybe a military base. But if you think about it, what happens if teachers aren't armed? We saw the worst happen. Can you provide a positive and negative of that? Because we've also seen how in many times maybe there's a faculty member that isn't too happy with their school situation, and then you don't want that person who is armed to carry out the worst. Can you provide both sides of it, please?
Sure, you can what if this to death. What if this teacher gets mad? What if this teacher drops their weapon? I mean, I've heard.
What's up, Luda? Hey, how you doing? Appreciate you for joining me. You just entered the best chat room on YouTube. Hope you're having a great morning. Wilbur_know you. An overlooked aspect of this tragic event is that this kid was probably bullied and had no support system and went rogue. Mental health is an issue, but it's not easily accessible for a lot of people. That's a fact. Wilbur, that's a fact. People need access to mental health support, but the government keeps. That's right. Yeah, that's right. And it's getting worse. That's a fact.
Heard all of the excuses. The fact of the matter is there are some faculty members that shouldn't be armed, but there are some who are trained in maybe military, trained as a law enforcement officer, trained in something else, and then we can go train them further and make sure they're there to mitigate a situation like just occurred. Now, listen, it's going to be tough for people to swallow, but we need to have somebody that's trained in every school in America, and that includes our private schools. They have to still adhere to the fire code. Every school in America, if you've got children confined in an area, they should have somebody that's trained.
But my experience with dealing with a lot of those type of people, majority of them don't even want the help. So you have to want to get the help. A lot of them don't want the help. A lot of them, you actually can't really, they don't want to listen to what you got to say.
Trained and armed to protect those children. We should demand it.
Dr. Webb, really briefly, I want to go through the timeline of what happened at 8:27 a.m. Central Time. That was the first report of the shooting. 9:10, ATF responds to active shooter report. 9:20, the FBI heads to the scene. By 9:31, the suspect is dead, and we know that was due to a self-inflicted wound. Break down the timeline. What went right? What should have been done better?
They're in the metropolitan area. They had a quick response. They had people there in a hurry. If you remember the Sandy Hook shooting, he shot 154 times in less than 5 minutes. The average response time is over 7 minutes. So we have to realize we've got to take care of our own business in our own institutions and not just rely on that response to get there in time. There were a lot of things that these schools can do to deter an attack. We're just not doing it because we don't think it's going to happen to us. It's human complacency.
Dr. Webb, after many of these tragedies, we know many school systems, even local governments, they go back to the drawing board to see what they can do to prevent this from happening in their own backyard. You being an active shooter expert, what tips, what advice would you share with those faculty members, even parents that are watching on the edge of their seats right now, wanting to be proactive to where if the worst does happen in their own backyard, what can they do to be prepared?
Yeah, well, the first thing you need to do is make sure that your school districts are locked. Make sure the exterior doors are locked, the interior doors are locked, that you have one way in and one way out. And that is secured by somebody that is ready and willing and trained to be able to mitigate a situation when it comes there. Now, listen, when we're talking about school buildings across the nation, there are all kinds of different designs. We need to come up with a national policy of school safety standards that every building should adhere to, and we need to do it now.
Active shooter expert Dr. Steve Webb, a pleasure having you join us here on Live Now from Fox.
It's a shame that it's going to have to come to that, which makes sense what he just said, that you got to, like the school, which is going to be real, real crazy. One way in, one way out, and an active shooter that's ready to rock and roll on the premises of the school. Can you imagine that? One way in the school, one way out of the school. Man, that's wild.
Thank you so much for your candidness and perspective as we continue to learn more about this tragedy. You have a great and safe rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And as we continue to discuss this tragedy that has unfolded, again, if you're just now tuning in, this is the poll we are conducting as we are learning that the FBI did launch a hate crime investigation into this Catholic school shooting. We want to hear from you. Do you support or oppose allowing school staff to be armed in schools for protection? If you haven't voted, scan that QR code on your screen.
2 pros would be sufficient. One roof, one floor could be built central, so students could never see, still need normal security as hopefully one day not need. Yeah, that's a good plan right there too. Yeah, that's right. Have regular, yeah. That's wild though, man. That's wild. I'm up so much on Crowcoin. I bought 230K at 9 cents. Shout out to you, Randall. What's up, Lil Haiti? Appreciate you for joining me. Sharice, good morning. Appreciate you for joining me. Crowcoin. Shout out to all the cryptocurrency holders and investors.
Screen or go to livenowfox.com/connect. In real time, you have the responses. 92% of you actually support school staff being armed in schools for protection, while 8% of you say absolutely not. I oppose it. I do not want my child's teacher to be armed. We'll continue to share this in real time right here on Live Now from Fox. As we do so, I want to share with you some of the many live looks we are getting as we further dissect the story. This one takes us there on the ground. I'm going to drop that banner as the videographer.
I think she just said that a parent said they don't want the teachers armed. I do. I hate that it's coming to that, but man, you got to stay ready, keep from getting ready. And if the teachers have to be armed and ready to go, that's what it got to be, because we got to protect the people and the kids. You know, the schools got to be super safe.
photographers pan around and give you a live look there in Minneapolis outside of Annunciation Catholic Church and School. People coming out this Thursday to pay their respects, dropping off flowers. You see right there someone praying outside of the Catholic Church and School. Flowers, as I mentioned, candles, stuffed animals, and then people standing by for a moment of silence to pay their respects. We'll continue to follow the very latest here on Live Now from Fox throughout the day. Right now at 10:23 on the East Coast, we do want to transition to other top stories and headlines here on Live Now from Fox as we are following the very latest of all of your top stories. If you're just now tuning in, good morning.
Well, I'm going to end it right here, guys. I thank y'all for rocking with me, coming in and tuning in with me. If you have not hit the subscribe button, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the like button as we pray and mourn and also try to find solutions to this tragedy. This is one of many, and in 2025, we have to find some type of way to eliminate these type of tragic situations. So we pray for these people, we pray for their families, you know, and we hope that God can protect them and protect these kids and protect our kids and our grandkids. And that's what we hope. That's what we pray. So I love and I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for joining me. To the next one, this is the one and only Stock Sniper. Earn, spend less, and make proper investments. To the next one, I'm out.